biohacking, performance, mastery, mindset, holistic health. This is a show about getting better every single day. I'm on a mission, guys, to help over 8 million people get healthy and lose weight. Why? Because when you lose weight and get healthy, you have higher self-esteem. You have more self-confidence. And that person goes out and crushes their goal and starts living the highest version of themselves, and then they have way more impact on the world. What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Let's get into some things here. Look at brand new research, brand new study coming out of Tufts University talking about pancakes being healthier than omelets. Really? Really? I'm going to go on the all pancake diet and I'm going to start losing some weight and getting healthy because Tufts University, after a 3-year study, just decided that. This is the ridiculousness that we see in the propaganda that how do people even at this point have trust in anything that the US government or any of these organizations are trying to legitimize themselves and say, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of things. I'm not going to get too political. We've seen a lot of things happen recently with the CDC and saying they're having this whole overhaul. And now they're basing safety studies off of 8 mice. I mean, this is where we're at. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It's just crazy. And it shouldn't be happening. It's I feel really do we think we're this stupid that we're going to say pancakes are better for you than omelets? This is what it's come to. And I think we need a resurrection. And I'm hoping that people like myself and other health practitioners and other people are going to get on the bandwagon and start just talking about what true health is. Because when you are truly healthy and you rebalance your body, then none of these diseases of the modern the modern world that we think about are even possible. So I want to get into it today. We're gonna talk about this research study. Again, I think it was done over 8,000 foods and drinks out of Boston, the Tufts University and the University of Boston. And what they did is researchers came together, and this is in the U.S., and they created what they call the food compass. And they wanted to really evaluate foods. And so they created this scoring system looking at foods over 9 different metrics and including all their ingredients, additives, protein. Here we go, guys. So you're thinking this is going to be really good. This is finally going to get to the nitty gritty of how should we eat? You think about the food pyramid. Well, this is the food compass. So this is going to guide us in the right direction of how we should be eating. And so, here's the good thing. Sweet desserts, things that we know are probably not good for you, things like Capri Suns and some of these sodas, they scored extremely low. That's great. And a lot of the nutrient-packed foods that we already know about, fruit, vegetables, nuts, they achieved higher scores. So that's good. But some of the results are misleading, right? And you see things that opting for something like a granola bar over a sugary chocolate ice cream. Well, the sugary chocolate ice cream scored higher. You should actually go with that. It's what? Couscous, which can be we can get technical and talk about some of the grains in there, but it scored overall. It was fine, but if you were to eat a piece of bacon, it scored higher. Now, I'm all for saturated fat, and bacon has a lot of it, but depending your genotype, depending, everything else in your heart, maybe, I'm sorry, not your heart, but in your general health, maybe it's not the best thing, but it's really tough. If anybody's looking at this food compass for direction, you're going to be confused. And so one of the things that they looked at again was 8,000 foods and drinks. And they looked at things from melons to McDonald's. And they used these 9 different metrics to rank them according to 54 different attributes. And they are creating this comprehensive system. Again, think the food compass, and then you have the food pyramid. Well, they created this scoring system on all these things. And some of the results were left, let's just say, unexpected, right? Things, again, like I mentioned at the top of this podcast, things like ice cream, things like McDonald's pancakes are considered healthier than maybe even an omelet. And so what they saw is a McDonald's pancakes, for example, scored 50 points out of a score of 100. So we know they're in the middle. They're not the best, but then you've got things like the omelet scoring 26 points, an omelet with egg and ham. How is this possible? Seriously? So let's look into some of the other things they had. They talk about rice. Here's another one. Rice versus chips. Now, when I say chips, they're actually talking about fries, French fries, fried French fries. They actually told you in this study, they said French fries are healthier to eat, according to our scale, than white rice. And the reason being is because white rice, they're removing a lot of the whole of the rice. And so they said, well, there's a lot of, fiber and nutrients that are missing from that. I eat rice all the time. I think, and I recommend for my clients overall, I think it's overall a healthier carbohydrate than a lot of these other ones. I mean, if you have brown rice, for example, you're getting a lot of phytates with phytic acid. It's an anti-nutrients. It's pulling away from your body things like zinc, magnesium. We need these. These are really important cofactors and nutrients that we need. So, I actually recommend. I use white rice a lot, but they're thinking, oh, well, it's the spike in blood sugar. That's the big issue with the white rice. Versus the whole grain rice. But somehow they also, by the way, it was white rice that was made with margarine. Really? Really? Like, of course, like margarine, a fake butter with all these synthetic canola oils and these chemicals, of course, it's going to be a worse alternative than, well, I don't know, than French fries, but fried foods. I mean, this is asinine. And the idea was, well, potatoes have, again, more fiber and nutrients and iron. And so that was the reason, because you get more potassium and things like that in a potato than you would with white rice. Just ridiculous. How about another one? Granola bars versus ice cream cone. Which one's healthier? Well, the Food Compass scored a granola bar with coconut and chocolate 15 points out of a score of 100. Well, meanwhile, the chocolate ice cream cone with nuts chalked up as many as twice as that with a full 35 points. And the experts said, well, here's the thing. Ice cream cone, offers no health benefits, but the dairy-rich sweet is packed with calcium. Yeah, you're not going to get that in your granola bar. First of all, let's just say this. The granola bar versus the ice cream, I mean, this is a ridiculous comparison. You shouldn't have either. At the bottom line, I mean, really, you shouldn't be having either. But one scoop that's served with the cone, which can have as little as 15 calories, and then topped with the nuts, becomes a really healthy snack in moderation, because nuts have healthy vitamins and fats, and therefore that is healthier than a granola bar, which is mostly made of refined sugar and starch, according to one of the professors who conducted the study. So there you go. You get more nutrients, you get more protein, you get more dairy from ice cream. Therefore, it's 35 points versus something like a granola bar. Again, that's a good point. I mean, you are going to get healthier fats that could lead to less overeating. At the end of the day, none of these are probably that great. I mean, dairy is one of the most inflammatory proteins that we see from an IgG perspective, right? So, and so is gluten. So it's probably a poor comparison, but nonetheless, this scale is ridiculous. So let's go on. They talk about multigrain crackers versus salted crisp or chips. Again, they use chips. I think it's almost like a UK version of like fries. And so they actually said that the salted crisp were more healthy than a multigrain cracker. One could also say, again, why are we comparing these two? Let's get into the omelet versus pancake debate, which I started this whole episode off and talk about this craziness. So even though meat and cheese omelets, it scored just 26 points, okay, according to the Food Compass. Whole grain fast food pancakes. Obviously, we know that pancakes are, I mean, how many times do you eat pancakes and you're still hungry? Because they have all these empty calories. There's really no nutrition. Well, it scored 50 points. And if you look at a McDonald's pancakes with syrup, you are looking at 477 calories and a huge 41 grams of sugar. Whoa. Yeah. However, they do contain 10 grams of protein, just in case you're wondering. Well, the professor, I can't even say his last name, he's a nutrition expert and he was a co-author, said whole grains in the pancakes offset the negatives, giving them a higher food score. I think one of the biggest issues too, when we go back and we look at how the food pyramid has metamorphosized over the year, and you look back in the 1970s when Ansel Keys completely doctored and used bad data to support that fat was bad for you, that is when the processed food industry came in and started calling for grains and the importance of grains and whole food grains in our diet, talking about fiber and all this stuff. This is when this all was created. And so we keep coming back to this old dogma and old ideology. And listen, I'm a guy who loves a piece of sourdough bread from now and then, but the fact to think that you actually need grains and it needs to be part of your diet is just ridiculous. And again, when we look at things from an IgG allergy perspective, if you just look at the masses that take that test, the number one top 2 inflammatory proteins is gluten and milk. I mean, gluten and dairy. So some of this stuff is just ridiculous. They talk about dairy milk versus chocolate almond milk. What do you think which one's better? Well, dairy milk got a measly 50 points on the food scale. And the thought process, well, is maybe because there's a lot of saturated fat, a lot of cholesterol, which I've talked a lot about cholesterol on the show, talking about how it is not to be villainized. It is not it's the scapegoat for the processed food industry again. Instead of looking at processed food and these highly inflammatory vegetable oils that are creating a free radical cascade in our bodies, they're pointing the finger. They're dangling it over here. It's like a magician. Hey, look over here. Look at cholesterol. That's your problem. You need to be on statins. That's your problem. You're eating too much meat. You're eating too much dairy. And the real issue is the inflammatory reaction that's happening in your body that's creating the high amounts of cholesterol and the oxidation of the cholesterol. That's the real problem. So, but anyways, this is why they're saying, hey, maybe, this is the reason. Unsweetened chocolate almond milk, though, huge, A+, 91 points. Hey, listen, I'm all about almond milk and some of these dairy alternatives. I just said that dairy can be very inflammatory. Why not just go to raw milk, by the way? You guys know about raw milk? That's got all the enzymes in it. You won't find raw milk in stores. I remember when I was living in San Francisco, there were only 3 stores that would have raw milk, or maybe it was even 2. And now it's 3. And you had to go to these certain stores on certain days of the week to actually buy the raw milk. And then it was gone. It wasn't a lot. And it was a big deal for these stores to actually take on raw milk products because they're scared, honestly, because raw milk has all the enzymes. It's not pasteurized. And that's actually a good thing. Pasteurization, we can get into a whole nother topic on it, but what we see is this pasteurization process. Yes, it kills bacteria, but guess what? It kills all the enzymes and some of the good nutrients found in the milk. And so you're not getting any of that, which is why people become lactose intolerant. You don't have any of the enzymes to break down lactose. Of course, you're not going to be able to tolerate milk well. So you guys can look at A2 milk. That's something I just talked with a client recently about. Look at A2 milk. It is a better, less inflammatory protein. You won't get that. I believe you're only going to see that in cows from New Zealand, but there is a brand called A2 milk that you can find. I'd say that's a way better alternative. Or even, again, look at something like raw milk. Make friends with your farmers and go out there, and some of them will give it to you. But there's a lot of scrutiny around it, because if you get sick because there was no pasteurization process, they don't want to take that heat on by the establishment. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I think what they saw, at least for almond milk, was less calories compared to traditional milk, about 100 calories less. And of course, you're not going to get as many of the vitamins and nutrients, but we can fortify it with calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin 12. I just did a great podcast. If you guys didn't listen to my podcast Tuesday that dropped with Mark Schatzker, who is the author of Dorito Effect and the End of Craving, we talk all about this fortification process and why it's a huge problem for people and how it has caused an obesity epidemic. They use fortification, guys, when they are beefing up animals. They fortify their foods with B vitamins. And that is a huge contributor to weight gain, because they want their pigs to be 30%. I think the stat he shared with me is that you can increase their weight by like 30% in like overnight dramatically. And that's going to beef your pig up fast with keeping, you don't have to feed it alfalfa. You don't have to feed it the grains that it needs. It can just get this from a supplement, and then you beef it up, you can sell it, and it's a lot better. So we're going to wrap things up here, but one of the ones I want to talk about was Cheerios. This is crazy. The Food Compass gave seeded bread, and we're looking at seeded bread versus Cheerios. Seeded bread got 32 points, possibly due to this high fat nature of the seeds, which in other areas, if you talk about seeds and nuts in terms of a chocolate ice cream, like I mentioned earlier, was considered a good thing. Now, apparently it's not a good thing. I don't know. But Cheerios scored a 91 points. Again, who's backing these studies? When we look at I'm telling you, go back and look at who's backing these, who's funding these studies. I'm a kid who grew up on Cheerios, and my mom and dad would buy it. And believe me, my mom would always say, like, hey, Cheerios is the healthier, in terms of cereals, it was the healthier one because it was like a lot less ingredients in it. But just, it's crazy the amount of preservatives and the absolute crap that's in those ingredients. Glyphosate I had Stephanie Seneff on the podcast. We talked about how glyphosate is destroying it's the Roundup killer, weed killer that's sprayed on all of our crops. Well, that is causing collagen breakdown. It's causing leaky gut. It's causing allergies. It's causing your not only leaky gut and the collagen matrix to destroy your body, but it's also God, it slipped off my tongue. It slipped off my tongue. There's one more thing I wanted to say about it causes metabolic issues. And we talk about that and weight gain and how it can disrupt the metabolism. It destroys the CYP cytochrome 450 pathway, which leads into vitamin D synthesis, glutathione. So it's terrible. And you're eating this, you're putting this in your body every day. I don't care if you're having Rice Krispie treats, frosted mini wheats, or Cheerios. They're all terrible for you. Like, let's stop kidding ourselves. And then guess what that goes with? A nice non-fat dairy milk, which has yes, there's protein. Yes, there's calcium. Sure, you can get some vitamins, but it's all fortified. And can I go on? I could go on. Anyways, so breakfast cereal, 91 points for Cheerios. This is just asinine, I think. We're actually promoting this, and we're leading people to believe that Cheerios is healthier than an omelet, that McDonald's pancakes is healthier than an omelet. I don't know what to say, guys. I really don't. And I just wanted to make you aware that this is bad science. This should not be happening. And it is. And this is why when so many people that I meet, they come to me, it's like, I'm eating the food diet. I'm eating the SAD diet, the standard American diet, and I'm not getting healthy. And that is why we have a huge epidemic in the United States with obesity, like 70%, or I think the study was 88% of folks are metabolically not healthy, which means only 12% of Americans are actually metabolically healthy. And that's just terribly sad. And they're promoting these people, and these lobbyists and these people are using big food, and they're being backed by all these big food to do these studies. And it's just crazy, and it shouldn't be happening. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was just a funny way on a Friday to talk about health and just some of the new studies and make you aware of it. Like, really? Why? And who's doing the scoring system? That's what I want you to go check out this study at a Tufts University and find out who's backing this and why they're saying McDonald's pancakes are healthier than eggs. I think you'll be surprised. That's all I got today, guys. I hope you have an amazing Friday, and you have an amazing weekend, and you enjoy it with your family. Be blessed. And I am out. Hold on. Let me see here. I got some comments. This is great, Joel. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. My man, Simon. Yes. Happy to be here, brother. Thanks for watching the show and tuning in. Amazing stuff. Have a blessed weekend, guys. I love you. Reach out to me if you guys need anything. I always say that I am a holistic health coach, and I love to serve and help people get better. And if I can do that some way in your life, please reach out to me. info@joelevancoaching.com. You can go to my website, joelevancoaching.com, learn more about me there, or, simply reach out to me on Instagram @joelevancoaching, and we can connect that way. Have an amazing weekend, guys.